Forky is the most important toy to Bonnie right now. We all have to make sure nothing happens to him.
Woody, we have a situation.
I am not a toy. I was made for soup, salad, maybe chili, and then the trash.
Buzz, we've got to get Forky.
Affirmative.
You guys you are the benchmark now. I've read stories in bona fide.
Studios don't like him too much.
No, but
they can bury a
sometimes
movie.
they say with a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I'm sure Toy Story 4 is going to rank right up there.
What can we do to make sure that happens? Huh?
Quarter century we've been with Woody and Buzz in our lives. What is it about these two characters and the relationship that they have with each other that has helped them endure to where they mean so much to people?
I'm going to give it first to Pixar in writing and developing the characters. Give it that first thing. I will say, secondly, there actually is a connection between these two individuals. At least I really admire this guy and want to be his friend, and we become friends, and it translates into that.
It
Buzz.
does.
It translates into Buzz. Yeah. He really does like the guy. He liked him from I see no intelligent life anywhere. From that moment, he goes, "Oh, look at that little cowboy. I kind of like that." And he's full of bravado, but he kind of likes this cowboy because she's the sheriff. And I'm just a soldier, so this is my commanding officer. And so there's this connection. I've always liked that thing, and when the first Toy Story came out, that's the first thing I said to all the people that were going, I don't know about this. It looked weird because computer animated. I said, this friendship is great.
Tim came into my life just like Buzz came into Woody's. It's like, what? First of all,
I looked right at him.
Stop
no
talking.
Intelligence.
Stop talking. Stop it. Stop it. Stop talking. And now we seek each other out all the time. And we kind of talk in a code, the kind of way by the way. But he's right. Pixar, everybody who's ever worked on any Toy Story movie does not take their responsibility lightly in order to test this, to shape it, and not put it out until there's a reason to. And it's the reason because it's done, and it will live up to the imprimatur of all the other Toy Story movies.
4 movies in right now, I have to ask you, do you have a favorite moment from the films, as hard as it would be to pick one?
Unfortunately, it's whenever he's quiet, I'm not in it. But when Buzz realizes he's a toy, and he sits up in the attic, and he slumps down, and they close in on him, and I'm going, I'm brilliant. I was actually saying it, I'm going, look at how good I'm acting. I went, wait a minute, that has nothing to do with me. I'm not. It's an animator did it, but I love that moment that on his little face that happened, and it funniest one is when he says, "You are a toy," and I shut the visor when you are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. That's probably one of my, I do it all, I see it all the time too. My neighbors, as a matter of fact.
Mine is at the end of Toy Story 3, and it's a silent moment. They are all going to go meet their doom. They are all slowly being pushed into the fiery refuse bin. And they look to each other, and they reach out for each other. When that happened, I just said, this is in a high country here, that I am so emotionally invested in inanimate toy objects that have so much more humanity in them than I see in the course of my rap of the day. That moment alone is like, this is something out of...
You're a winner again, Tom. You picked out a better scene.
Now
he's a better
masterpieces of literature.
You've embodied these characters for so long. Did you ever have, you ever shout something out in the house and your family goes, you're not Woody, or, that's something Buzz would say?
I do.
No, just that my family says, you are so Woody.
Yeah.
No, which is, they don't mean that as we love you and you're adorable.
What do you think you're Buzz Lightyear? I've heard that.
Oh, really?
Sometimes at work, or I've done it on sets, movies. I'll say something, go, "What are we, Buzz Lightyear?" All of a sudden, they go, "No, I just happen to get into a deeper register."
I get into that. Come on, guys. I get into that kind of thing. It's like, oh, come on, guys. Really?
Are you?
Come on, guys.
So Forky in this film, going through a bit of an existential crisis. Give us some of your tips for anyone going through an existential crisis.
Oh, man. Yes, I can relate to Forky's existential crisis because I feel like he's asking, why am I here? I'm asking, how did I get here? I'm as overwhelmed as Forky is. I never thought I'd be here. I'm thinking somebody made a massive mistake and is going to pull me out of this at any moment. But I would say, like, he just, oh man. Somebody actually told me once, like, when you kind of feel like you're in that kind of existential place, just start, like, touching things around you. Like, okay, here's some denim, here's some wood chair, I'm here. And I think Forky's always, he's doing a lot of that too. Like, what's going on?
You know, I was going to ask you what it's like to voice the worst looking toy that Disney has ever produced. But
Worst to you.
But I feel like it's not really fair to say that because, you know, just seeing how kids are connecting to Forky, and my kids are like loving the Forky.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And so what do you think it is about Forky that people are connecting to so much? Is it the simplicity of the character? What is it?
I do think it's the simplicity of the character. And because I think not only is he made simply, but he sees life simply. He's very much like a child. He's a blank slate. He's always asking the questions. He doesn't understand the rules of the universe. Humans walk in, characters drop to the ground. He's like, why are you guys dropping to the ground? Somebody says, Bo Peep. He's like, what's a bow? You know, he doesn't understand anything. And I think he has a freedom to ask questions. For some reason, there's a shame attached to people asking questions many times. And it's like, he's just so free to be like, what's this? What's this? Like, we need to do that more. Yeah. You know, he's constantly curious. He has all that wonder all the time, you know?
Curious to know what was your origin story for Forky.
They did bring me up to Pixar, you know, when they asked me would I be interested, and I'm like, yeah, check, yes. But they showed me a picture of Forky, and I was like, not what I imagined. But the more that they talked about him and just his obvious simplicity, but also this whole concept of he felt like his whole life goal was, I'm made for the trash. I'm made to help people eat soup and chili, and then I'm going to the trash. And Woody steps in and he's like, you have a greater purpose. You have value. And not to go, you know, meta with it, but it's like if anybody thinks that's their only path, if anybody sees themselves that way, no, you have tremendous value and a huge purpose.
Favorite Toy Story moment in the franchise? Do you have one?
God, I really should be prepared for this question. For some reason, and it might be because my daughter was 4 when the last one came out, but I have just such a memory of them in that furnace heading, but like it's also the way that they were like, we're doing this together, because to me, what has made people gravitate to this film is you see a group of characters that know you're not supposed to live life together alone. We need each other. Woody's constantly like, come on guys. It's like we're supposed to do this journey together, and I love that.
1995 Bo Peep versus 2019 Bo Peep. Which version of the character do you resonate the most with?
Well, the 2019 version, you know? I could say the same of my life. Do I relate mostly to the 1995 version of myself, or now there is no point in relating to the 1995 version because I'm a girl who moves on. I am here where I am, and I mean Bo's fantastic. Who wouldn't want to be there?
What's it like to sort of see her this realized in this movie? And when you learned that and you saw sort of her role in this movie, what was it like for you?
Well, I'm sure you heard yesterday, you know, none of us ever saw the whole script. We did, because it's always, it's like the magic kitchen. They're always back there cooking up more stuff and just in the moment cooking up more stuff and everything. So never saw it. So that's just, you know, you have to sit down like you're at the master chef's table. It's like, well, what are you going to serve me next? Because the last dish was fantastic. You surrender to enjoying that current of creativity, which is so much fun. And I totally trusted them to, but I must say, in all of that, you say that's a given, but it's more like, well, I just have to, you know, they're on it, they know what they're doing. But when I saw it, I was overwhelmed with I just felt like I owed them so much thanks to, I mean, I'm just her voice. They are responsible for all the rest, and they made her a wonderful character. I just feel like I'm just a small part of it, and they made her magnificent. And as I've said, when I finished the first screening, I just kind of fell into Josh Cooley, and we both cried for about 10 minutes. You know, I said, how can I thank you? It's beyond my wildest imagination.
Do you have a personal favorite moment from the Toy Story movies? And I feel like it may even be from this fourth one.
Oh gosh, there's so many. I mean, there's such a densely perfect thing. It's like, which bite of the eclair did you enjoy the most? It's like, I enjoyed the whole thing. But I don't know. I have to see this one again. But I would say, you know, somewhere in the final moments of 4 would be kind of hard to beat in almost any animated outing.
One of the themes of this film is hard goodbyes. Can you talk about the theme of saying goodbye in this franchise over the years and saying goodbye to this franchise, if that is indeed what this film is doing?
Yeah, that was the moment when we realized we could do this. Should we try it? And we tried it out, and it all of a sudden kind of earned the title of Toy Story 4. And I will say that not only in the film are they learning that, but the recording sessions with Tom and Tim, the ones that were their very last ones, when they went like, okay, what are we reading next? And I kind of went, I think that's the last line. I think we're good. And they kind of went, really? It just they felt it there as well. So it's goodbyes are never easy.
But we also knew we had to throw the ball pretty far to make Toy Story 4 worthy of being made. We did not want to make just another adventure in the lives of these toys.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy that one of the most anticipated characters of this film is a spork. You know, and we see Forky's origin story in the film, but I'm curious to know Forky's origin story as a character.
Yeah.
Was it a fork at first? Was it a spoon? Was it something completely different? I mean, talk about how you came about creating Forky.
The funny thing is, he was always a spork.
Really?
Sporks are funny.
Yeah.
They just are. Well, but before that, we were just joking around, sitting around thinking, what would, you're looking at our own kids and how our own kids play. We just use them for reference. And our kids will pick up a rock and go, doo, 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 and all of a sudden, you know, it's a toy to them. We were thinking, what would happen in the Toy Story world if that happened? Would that rock come to life? And we just started laughing, like, that's so stupid. And but then what would happen? And the answer is that thing would come to life and not understand anything, and has never seen Toy Story 1 through 3, so there's no context for anything that's going on. And that just felt totally new. It surprised us. It surprised even Woody in the audience as well. So it felt like, oh, there's something brand new here we have to try.
And it came out of like one meeting, one day in the story room that started with that conversation and ended up with people drawing sport characters.
It's like Spork was like the most popular one. People just got
nobody drew anything differently. You know, it's just there's something magical about the Spork. And then on top of that, we just knew this character should feel kind of insecure and not understand. And Tony Hale, we have to talk to him, and he said yes, thank God.
You know, I imagine when you're making a Toy Story movie, you're looking obsessively over at the other Toy Story movies. So I have to ask a favorite moment from Toy Story over the years.
Throughout all of them.
Yeah, I mean, Toy Story 2 was the first Toy Story movie that I worked on, so that one has a special place in my heart. I love Jessie's backstory with the song and, you know, and learning where she's been and what she's been through. It just made me emotionally connect to her so much in one montage scene. Love that moment.
We would watch 1, 2, and 3 back to back a lot, just to make sure that everything felt like the flow was correct going into 4, and or continuing through 4. The moment that really I love every single time is the very beginning of the first one, the staff meeting, because that's where you're really seeing what the world is and how these characters are interacting, and Woody kind of going around collecting everyone. It's so charming, and the thing is that they're taking it very seriously. This is their job. They're not being cute little animals or cute little toys. They're just, this is our job. We got a thing to do. So they have a staff meeting, which is amazing.